Yeah, I'm seeing it's live on Flote.
Yeah, I see it's live. I don't see it.
Now you should.
Just the black screen is but it does say live. No.
I see the intro on Flote.
Oh,
Let me see if I can hear it.
All right, I see it now. Yeah. All right, it's good.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is our first multi-stream. So far, we've only done streams on the Orwellian Google Alphabet platform known as YouTube. That has not been successful for us because every time we talk about something that the masters don't like, their AI robots come along and shut us down. So we've decided to completely revamp the publishing and start pushing shit out on platforms that respect their content creators and don't try to silence them because their views conflict with a particular political agenda. So joining us today on the call, we have Pat from the State of Anarchy, myself, Kingsley, the CEO of Flote, and Alex. Alex, what's your position in Flote? What do you do?
You could call me the head of crypto, head of blockchain projects.
Awesome. So it seems like we have two business-minded guys and then two crypto heads, which is going to be great. I'm going to love this mesh of energies. So Kingsley, why don't you? My first question for you is, how did the idea for Flote come about in your mind?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me. Good to talk with you guys again. And what happened was, I mean, we all saw what happened with Alex Jones in 2018. And I wasn't even a big Alex Jones fan then, but we could see that big tech basically colluded in less than 24 hours, I'd say. And he got completely deplatformed from all the major platforms. What was it even about? I forget. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was even about.
It's about the school shooting stuff that he was kind of misrepresenting.
Okay, and that's why, yeah. So so we saw what was happening, and we've seen this trend happen. I know I saw it starting back in Ron Paul 2008 and how they were censoring him, and basically that trend we figured was going to continue. And with Alex Jones, I mean, then we just kind of saw the other content creators start to get deplatformed, demonetized, censored. This is before obviously even Corona came about, but all these things were happening. And my wife Erin, she started making relationships, friendships with a lot of content creators that I had been fans of for a while, like Josh Sigurdson, Dan Dix, Luke Rudowski, all of them in the kind of the independent media field. And we saw that happening with them as well. I mean, these are people that were building up their YouTube audience for 5-10 years, starting to make $7,000 to $10,000 a month, finally able to really focus on just focusing on their channel and building their channel and their work. And then overnight just completely gone. Almost just basically erased off the internet or losing your, if you're demonetized, losing your income. So yeah, I mean, we saw it as something that people, obviously free speech should definitely live on the internet. And that was, basically the core principles of the internet was kind of the peer-to-peer communication. And so at the time we were focused on building a crypto wallet that was going to be for privacy coins and tokens. And we got into Boost VC, which is run by Adam Draper in San Mateo. And then the first day of Boost, when I got there, I told Adam that, hey, we want to focus on something else. So we did a pivot to our whole business model there, and we started building Flote. Really, it's like personal as far as what it affecting like people that we know. I mean, we had also friends, not just YouTube, but Facebook, like Free Thought Project and others that had built up over 1 million followers in their groups. All of a sudden, deleted. You lose your whole community overnight. Carrie Wedler on Twitter, she had like 50K followers on Twitter, and they actually sent her like an email, I believe, that said, you have been banned off of Twitter because of, and it was literally just like blank.
Dude, they never tell you. That's the most annoying part. They're just like, yeah, sorry, we're just misinformation. Like Dan Dix told me that. They just like, you have to find out what video that you think that we don't like, and then if you find it, maybe you can appeal it, and then if you appeal it, maybe we'll forgive you, but probably not.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems is that, like, really, I think most people would not necessarily be okay with it, but at least they would like understand, like, if the community guidelines weren't so vague and they actually provided like evidence of what you did. But now it's just, people, content creators having to tiptoe around the what words they use. That was another thing too that really got me kind of motivated, is that, all these content creators I've been following for years, having to just by, especially independent journalists, just for covering current events, whether it's police brutality or the wars or crypto or whatever is going on in the world, and them having to use these cover words in order to not trip the algorithm. So yeah, that's all that stuff is just, it's super Orwellian, and no one wants to live in a future that is dictated by big tech and these technocrats. So we just saw an opportunity to not only do the right thing, but kind of take advantage of the current trends happening with all these social platforms.
Yeah, man. And what's interesting is like this, it's almost like the same reason that has brought me to the platforms as a user. Like you said, like you provided a solution to a problem that you were seeing, that, you were basically the fruit bearer, or like, the bread giver. But like for people like me, I'm very frustrated because I have a lot of good community and a lot of cool people to bring onto the show and talk about things that are relevant and are important. And like you said, these technocratic platforms are just stuffing guys like me and guys like Luke and Josh out. They don't want the message like out there, and like that has like, and I swear to God, I must have some sort of like trauma bond with these stupid platforms, because I still post on YouTube after all this garbage. But like ultimately, like the realization that it's time to redesign how we publish in this day and age has become ever too clear. So that's why we're multi-streaming on like 5 different platforms right now that aren't related to Facebook or YouTube. And it's getting excited to see this new ecosystem be created by the community and by people just like you and me, and watch it grow. So Flote.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say.
Okay, I was just gonna. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. With what's going on right now, I mean, it's really crazy. But there is, I think there is a silver lining, and I think that's with, especially with all the Corona stuff. It's just the masks. I say like the masks are coming off as far as who we want to do business with and who we want to support. And these other big tech social apps, that's the whole reason why they got big, is because they offer, this great service of us to, connect with each other and grow community online. And so now they're just like, it used to piss me off when all this censorship stuff started happening and getting really bad. But now it's like, every day I just see headlines and I'm like, okay, you just basically, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. And the trend is now where these online communities are starting to separate from big tech, and they're starting to, people are starting to find their own community in multiple other social apps. So you kind of have, you have Gab, which is, they call themselves now the parallel Christian economy, more of like a Christian conservative type of community. You see, Parler's is kind of more Parler and Getter. Well, Getter's obviously getting some traction right now, but they were more of just like kind of the Trump conservative crowd. And Flote was, really intended, and I didn't use this language in the beginning, but kind of to create anarchy online. I just saw the, how powerful it can be when you connect people and payments directly, using encryption, technology and blockchain technology, and just being able to communicate securely and be able to send payments peer to peer. Obviously that is the future, and so yeah, that's essentially what we're building.
Yeah, dude, I
That's
really
what
like.
drew me to the platform in the beginning, was when I found out you guys had you incorporated a Bitcoin wallet, and it was just super user friendly to use, no private key management, and great for someone just a new entrant, to crypto. I thought that was groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's cool
Yeah, and
because
that's
like they don't reward you on these other platforms. Like you don't. I mean, if you were monetized on YouTube, chances are you're not anymore. And most people go to these platforms to just give away their data for free and get used basically. But the ethos of these platforms like Flote is like, hey, come here and you'll actually like earn some wealth in exchange for the value that you create. I love that personally.
Yeah, and that was another opportunity we saw too with crypto. I mean, let's show off, what the better monetization or the ways that people can better monetize with crypto. So when you send like a super chat on YouTube, a lot of people don't know when they send that tip, it's 30. Google takes 30%. Page. So and they like ad as far as like ad revenue, they'll take up to 30 to 50% depending on what platform you're on. So this is like a really great use case, especially for content creators when it comes to just producing and sharing their contents, and using crypto as basically the payment rail for fee-free transactions.
Awesome. Well, what's funny? I'm going to ask this question in an attempt to give the listener the answer, but I'm also asking it as sort of like like a crash course for my own self. What are some of the avenues that a content creator can take on Flote to get to monetize? Like how do Bitcoin payments work? What kind of avenues have you provided to that people could go right now and make some crypto?
Yeah, Alex, or Alexander, you want to talk? Since I've been hogging.
Yeah, I think that would be a good. I think he'd be a good person to answer that question.
Yeah. Oh wait, maybe he stepped away for a second.
That's okay. If he comes back, he can answer the question.
Yeah. No, it's all good. All right. Yeah. So I mean, as far as monetization right now, we have it. So obviously, you can. Oh, there he is. Okay, go.
Sorry. Yeah. Looks like I got muted. Wasn't. Didn't hit the button, but maybe it did it on its own. Sorry. So yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and take the question then from here. There are currently a few ways that you can monetize as a creator on Flote. And the primary way is kind of like what we're doing right now, is a live stream. There's sort of a super chat feature where you can leave a tip within the chat, and your post will be highlighted, so that way it gets more attention to it, and the manager or the streamer can answer those questions. Like if you're in the stream right now currently on Flote, and you scroll up a little bit, you'll see that there was a tip from Aaron, live stream, King's wife, for $8.35
awesome.
sometime back. So yeah, so that's one way that you can do it. The other is through subscriptions to your content. So there's like a paywall system for specific tiers of content. So when you post something, you can choose whether it's public, or you can choose what tiers of your followers are going to be able to see that content. And you can have unlimited tiers, kind of up to you and your creativity to formulate that however you want. But currently everything is done through the built-in Bitcoin wallet. But pretty soon in the V1.0 launch, because currently we're on beta, when we switch over to V1.0, actually shortly thereafter, we may have a sort of what's the word I'm looking for? A break in the ability to do some of these monetization features while we get some things ironed out on the back end when V1.0 goes live. Maybe not. But when those features do go live, it's going to be way more robust than it currently is. So every single post that you do on Flote will be able to be tipped. So you can do a like, but you can also do kind of a monetized like, where you can do a microtransaction. So currently with Bitcoin, fees and everything, it really only makes sense to do larger tips, like $10 or so. But since we're going to be running this app on the Polygon network, the fees are going to be pretty much free. They're next to nothing. So when you leave a tip on somebody's post, you could tip a penny or 10 cents or however much you want. We'll also be having the same features we have now as far as subscriptions for content creators and the super chats. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's peer-to-peer payments. So kind of like you can use it like you would, I don't know, Cash App or something like that. Say if I owe you some money, I can pull up my wallet and type in your name and shoot you off some crypto. So
I have a quick question.
yeah.
So all the balances it's all just on like a centralized database right now, and you're the custodian of all this Bitcoin and just changing the numbers through the wallets and whatever. But if somebody wants to send some Bitcoin off to, go on chain, and they're obviously going to be paying for the transaction fee to remove their withdrawal, correct?
Well, it is all on chain currently. So it's just a custodial wallet where we hold the keys and you have access to your funds and can send them out to any external Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah, so your keys are actually encrypted and password protected. So we don't have access to funds even currently. So that's why every time when you send something, it will ask for your password. You can also send Bitcoin through the encrypted messaging, and then once we launched our upgraded platform, which we're really excited about, that will also include monetization through the Flote token reward system that we were building.
Cool. And then I was curious as to do you see it as potentially a hurdle because there's a learning curve as to where if you're going to be building on Polygon, you have to pay for transactions in Matic, so you're going to have to educate the users on how to have some Matic in their wallet to pay for any transaction they want to do.
Well, the way that we're getting around that is actually we are working on building out a Polygon sidechain where Flote token is the gas token.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Yeah. So
Wow.
we won't actually have to teach anybody. Somebody could just come in, start posting, start earning. And as soon as they start earning tokens, they can begin transacting because the fees that they'll be paying will come out of their balance, but it'll be such a nominal fee. It'll be like fractions of a penny effectively. They won't even notice.
That's super
And that
cool.
was really important for us, obviously, because even when I've been in crypto since 2013, and we've seen a lot of the platforms and wallets and stuff like that develop, and they are becoming more and more user friendly. But it's always it's always an issue, like you mentioned with new users of crypto to be able to understand all this stuff. So I really like what we're doing with the Polygon sidechain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and our objective is really to make it as intuitive as possible, where you don't have to really even know that you're using crypto. You're just using a token, effectively, a credit that's traded on platform. There will be NFT assets, but we're not going to be necessarily, doing, how should I say? It's not going to be like what currently exists in that NFT world of like, gas wars for minting, high demand assets. It'll be everything happens super seamlessly. And then if you are a crypto, you know, um, I don't know, a
Savant.
cryptophile like myself, then you can start using more advanced features. You could like transact in various currencies. So like we're going to have wrapped Bitcoin and wrapped Ethereum on there. So say you start earning a ton of float tokens through your content, you can then because we don't know at this point how volatile float tokens may be. It's up to the market, but we'll know that Bitcoin is a good store of value, a good store of wealth. So as you start accumulating your float tokens, you can then convert them into wrapped Bitcoin and store your value that you're creating in that.
Very
Dude,
cool.
that is so cool.
With
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carmen.
I was just gonna say I like how you guys have totally taken into consideration every sort of like level of experience with crypto for people. Like it seems like even someone like my like 70-year-old mother could go on and like without even realizing that she's transacting and earning crypto if it's just happening for her as simply as just using the front end of your website. But then for guys like Pat, you, and myself who want to get a little bit more involved with the back end and with the economics of it, you provide that option too. And I really like the holistic viewpoint. That's really cool of you guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what we were going for, and that's why even like right now, we have it, and even in the future, we'll have it so that's, right now, unfortunately, USD fiat, at least for a lot of the world, is the standard as far as pricing whatever. So even with Flote now, you don't send 0.00001 Bitcoin. You just put in $5. It'll calculate it and send it off.
Are you guys planning on? So I understand the Bitcoin custodial wallet because of transaction fees and keeping things cheap, but because of the progress we've made with scaling, and you're going to do a Polygon sidechain, will you be adding a login with Ethereum button? And how would this be associated with like current usernames? Like, could I log in with my my private keys and still have access to my account, or am I going to have to use your custodial services?
So we're moving away from the custodial model altogether. And, the future is really Web3. For your listeners that don't know what Web3 is, that's basically uh, web with an economic component. So the industry standard for Web3 is MetaMask. And so that is what we're going to be launching with, as far as the ability to integrate your assets, which you can take elsewhere to other, decentralized apps, other websites, other Web3 enabled social networks, and use them on multiple platforms. That is one area where we will have to do a little bit of education for our users. So if they wanted to enable using the the crypto features, then we'll have just a quick little walkthrough of how they can load the MetaMask wallet into their browser, and then from there, everything else just sort of takes care of itself.
Cool. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. You guys are moving in the direction that things seem to go. Nobody wants that responsibility of being like the custodian of that stuff, because that seems to be what generates liability and gives
Yeah,
like traditional old school fiduciary government based monetary systems a path of attack. So that's smart that you guys
for
are moving
sure.
in that direction, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean that's what anarchy is all about. It's radical self-ownership, right? Um, so that it really only makes sense to do non-custodial wallets. We'll give the option down the road, I'm sure, to do a custodial wallet option, but we really want to promote, holding your keys, taking responsibility of your assets, because that's the path to freedom.
That's
So I know
awesome.
you're creating an NFT, but aside from your specific NFT, say when you did have the login with Ethereum button or connect your wallet, and like say I wanted to make my profile picture like a punk or a bored ape or something like that, would you be able
Mhm.
to show that it is verified and I actually own that? And for the people that are not listening, crypto punks and bored apes are just extremely overpriced JPEGs.
Yeah, I guess that's subjective, but
No, I know it
uh,
is.
What was I going to say? Yeah, as a matter of fact, that is something that we're planning. I can't say at what phase we're going to introduce that, but we're going to have a whole set of tools that will allow people that are in the NFT space to take advantage of them. And one of them just so happens to be the ability to use an NFT that you own as your profile picture.
Oh, that's so cool. So,
That's really cool.
speaking on the topic of NFTs, I know that you guys are sort of doing an NFT launch that comes with like sort of like added bonuses in the Flote ecosystem. You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think?
So, yeah, so the NFT launch that we're working on putting together right now is called the Plank Owner series. And the concept, in fact, maybe I'll let King sort of elaborate on the concept before I get into the particulars.
Yeah, sure. It's funny because so I was brainwashed during high school after 9/11. So I joined the Navy or the military after high school because I thought I was doing the right thing. And so one of the things in the Navy is for a newly commissioned ship is that you're called basically a plank owner, which just means when the ship goes out to sea and you're part of that crew, then you kind of have like that title or whatever. It doesn't usually it comes with like some sort of certificate. So I thought this would be a really cool way. We went like back and forth a bunch as far as what use cases are real in the NFT space versus just kind of hype that we all see happening in crypto during every run. Separating what's going to last because we don't want to introduce just anything that's just going to be hype for this quarter and then fail to preserve itself in the future. And we thought that this would be a really cool way to introduce NFTs to the platform. It's basically acts as almost like a transferable like membership and kind of like a support badge, that you were here and you supported us in the beginning. And even more importantly, like for at least to me, is that it's the final phase of our token distribution as well. So it's basically you're getting an NFT, you're buying the NFT, then you get a token airdrop, and then we have a whole bunch of other, like I've never seen any NFT really that gives so much value baked into it. So here, actually, I have the list right here if I want to just go over it. And you can check this out.
Peer-to-peer transferable, that membership, that token. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought really cool thing to do. And it came to me. But yeah, if you go to flotenft.com, and so yeah, you get the NFT, which is again transferable. You get the Flote token airdrop. Whitelisting for our upcoming Flote Avatar NFT sale, which we're planning on doing that. Alexander, probably like end of first quarter, maybe second quarter.
Yeah, I'd say probably realistic beginning of second quarter.
Yeah, you'll be able to see your the NFT as a badge on Flote, and also our subsidiary company that's working on a play to earn metaverse gaming project, Project Mirage, which there'll be more information about that out publicly soon. You'll have first access to a verified Flote profile. You'll get invitation to private groups on Flote, Telegram, and Discord, beta access to all the newest features on Flote, and then exclusive invites and perks for Flote's IRL events like Flote Fest, which is coming up in a couple months here. Our first one was last year. It was great, good time. And so, a bunch of stuff baked in here. Oh yeah, there's more stuff too. Oh, sorry. Discount on premium Flote merchandise, free Flote advertiser credits, membership in Flote Plus, and most importantly, bragging rights. So,
The most important.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of the perks that he described are transferable in that, like if you purchase it on the secondary market, you'll be able to say have the post boosting multiplier, which helps to like amplify your posts, things like that. And some of them are consumables. So like, depending on what level you come in at, you'll get maybe 3, 6, 9, 12 months of Flote Premium or Flote Plus for free. So some of them you can use, some of them you can transfer. And then what I think is really cool is we're really thinking about this long term, that these assets will be beneficial to any holder for the lifetime of the platform. So we'll be continuing to add cool perks for Plank owners well into the future that will keep them relevant, keep them valuable. So like, say there's a lot of publicity around a new perk that we add to the Plank owner NFTs, and somebody else values that new update more than you do, you could go into the secondary market and make a little profit and transfer those new abilities to somebody else.
That's really cool. That's
Very
super
cool.
Hey, King, do you want to touch on Flow Fest and maybe promote it a little bit? Because I did miss the last one, but I'm trying to come to this one.
Oh yeah, you guys should make it. Yeah, Flote Fest, just going around into the different conferences, especially in the crypto space, before all this Corona stuff started happening. We Aaron and I especially, like, we were just nonstop going to conferences every basically twice a month, and then eventually what was it, last year or the year before? The year before we went to Pork Fest for the first time. And that was like kind of our first like camping, like, conference festival type of atmosphere that we experienced. And we really enjoyed it. And then we got actually married at Jackalope Fest.
Oh yeah, I was there.
After.
That was awesome.
yeah, we had our marriage there. So we kind of fell in love with this like concept. Like, why are we, meeting indoors and doing all this, just this kind of like stuffy environments? We should, if we're meeting, especially like this community, let's do it outdoors. Let's, talk about survival as, skills and all that stuff, and just get out in nature in the sun. So we decided to throw Flote Fest kind of 60 days before we actually threw it, and man, it was a great time. Last March? That was our first one. We had over 300 people come. We had people like Del Bigtree speak. Sam Tripoli did his comedy routine there.
That's awesome.
Had Tatiana Moroz play some music. A bunch of stuff. Had a bunch of people tenting or RVing and just coming out. If you don't want to tent or RV, you can. There's a hotel about like 10 or 15 minutes away, so that's not a problem. But it's hosted on unrestricted land on our friends' actually 110-acre farmland in the middle of Texas. So it's a really good time. We're expecting even bigger turnout this year and even more more stuff to do and a lot more fun. But yeah, we really recommend everybody to come out and not only just build community online, but also meet people in person, because right now is the time to make those connections.
That's exciting. When is it this year?
It's the last week of April.
Yeah, April 27th, I want to say.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great, dude. I'm falling in love with the outdoor Anarchy model too. Because even with like our conference in Arkadelphia, like we threw our first one in 2019, and that we had a great success with, and we had a lot of momentum. And then literally like 3 months later, like the whole world shut down. So like I was like, hoping that like maybe by like August things would be open and we could, make a deal with like some venue. But like it just never panned out. Like everybody was always too afraid to put their neck on the line, basically. So yeah, and ironically, the jackalope that you and Aaron got married at was probably the biggest and best jackalope, not just because it was produced well, but because everything else was literally not happening that year. So like everybody looking for something to do, like pretty much like these outdoor festivals that basically have no restrictions in terms of like the government being able to put a stop on it, is the way to go. And then like there's no problem with scaling either. Like 110 acres, I don't even know how many people it would take to fill that up.
Right. Yeah, and that's actually what inspired us too, is because everything was getting locked down, and then we threw Anarcho Vegas, which was kind of like a more normal conference in 2019, which was it was great, but yeah, I mean it's just that running into a problem. Okay, here's a solution. we're just going to do it outdoors and switch it up. And so, yeah, we definitely prefer this model. Like, I don't even I look forward to all these outdoor events much more than regular conferences.
For real,
Well,
like
we're going to
there's
be
no
doing one
bonfires.
outside too. So hopefully, if you're on the East Coast this autumn.
Yeah, we're
love to
planning
have
on
you
doing a
back.
similar thing with Anarchy, moving it outside of the realm of, like, you know, even whether it's nice, whether it's stuffy, it doesn't really matter. Being in public buildings that are on the tax roll, that are subject to the rules and regulations of the Commonwealth, is just not a viable business strategy, and even just a viable event production strategy moving forward. So it's cool to see almost everybody taking the pivot. Because, yeah, 2019, we both did our events traditionally. You know, yours was at a nice place in Vegas, and ours was at a nice place in Philly. And then, you know, I focused on Jackalope, and even with the stuff we do in Acapulco now, a lot of it takes place outdoors or on the beach or in, like, you know, more open areas. So it's cool to see people make the adjustment to the tyranny, and that's almost kind of like what we talked about in the beginning with you know, what Flote provided as a solution. We basically, as a community, made an adjustment to online censorship, and then brought it out to the real world and made an adjustment to, like, fucking global lockdowns. So I'm glad to see that everybody's making the pivot where it has to happen.
So,
Yep.
King, aside from Float Fest, what other type of promotion or advertising, or what are you doing to push the word about Float?
We've been mostly, honestly, like, we haven't been, because we thought we ran into a couple of delays with our you know, the new platform that we're building, Catamaran. And so we haven't been really focused that much on promotions until kind of more lately, the last really, like, month or so. We were just actually on InfoWars a couple weeks ago, which is pretty interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, really, our focus has always been, you know, content creators. So, you know, can we hit content creators that have large communities on, you know, that's maybe still are on the big tech platforms, but they're looking for alternatives, or, you know, or that we can kind of see that they're probably going to get censored in the future or deplatformed, or even with you know, alt tech communities as well. And yeah, it's really just all about showing, you know, what Flote can do, you know, as far as feature set is concerned, and where we're going in the future, and having them, you know, kind of promotes Flote for us to their communities, and help bring their following over.
Yeah, what's happening with Getter right now? You couldn't pay. Nobody could pay for that sort of advertising.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
this mass exodus going over there, and it's just all word of mouth. You know, I could see something like that happen with Flote.
Oh,
How
for
many-
sure. Yeah.
How many
Absolutely.
users? How many users do you guys have?
We're over 55,000 right now. So as soon as we launch the platform, which is going to be, in my opinion, yeah, a lot more kind of, you know, more smooth experience, a lot more scalable as far as the architecture is
Yeah.
concerned.
More stable for high traffic.
Yeah, we're going
Cool.
to, yeah, we're really going to start getting the word out there.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have our Getter or Parler moment this year, you know, where we'll get an exodus of people coming in. Currently, right now on the beta platform, you know, if that were to happen, it would probably affect the user experience pretty significantly and slow us down. So that's one of our biggest one of the biggest advantages of moving to this new platform is we could take in a ton of people, and, you know, everything's still going to be super snappy, and, you know, everybody's going to have a good time.
That's awesome. That's so dope. So I guess you want to give a little bit more about what that platform is going to look like, maybe describe it, and what are some key differences from the beta?
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
take
I
it.
mean,
King, you want to take it?
no,
Other way?
yeah, go ahead. No, you can go.
Okay. Yeah. So this is something that I've been working on for a while, and before I moved over to my more crypto-focused role, was really focused on what the new platform is going to be. So have some good insights, but I'll also have to say that we've handed it off to um, our new head of UI UX, Jesus, who's doing a killer job of putting this thing together. But yeah, it's going to be in a lot of ways very similar to the current layout that everybody's used to on Flote. We don't want it to be a big jarring experience from beta to V1, but we're going to start rolling out a whole lot of more features that are going to make it more of a dynamic experience, especially for content creators and people that post various types of content. I think our biggest upgrade is with our posting system. So it's going to be really optimized to handle different types of content, from video, long form content like blog posts, audio. So you can, basically host your podcast there, image posts where they're all optimized for the type of content that you're putting together. So I think that's going to be our biggest change as soon as V1.0 goes live. And then, of course, the thing that everybody always asks for is a dark mode. So that's coming.
Yo, dark mode's crucial, man. Dark mode is crucial. That blue light, man.
It is.
Dating.
And yeah, that's it. Oh, go ahead.
Flote
Mhm.
dating.
Pat said float dating.
What was that?
He said float dating.
Float. What do you mean by that?
Oh, just
Like-
like a dating, where you could meet people.
Oh yeah, so yeah, float, flirt. Believe me, I have
That's
like
great.
a 5-year roadmap laid out. But yeah, so really, I mean, the V1 is more. There's a lot of stuff that's happening, like that won't be seen by the user on the back end. Like I said, completely restructured architecture as far as the tech stack that we're using. But what it symbolizes really, besides just the scalability and much a smoother user experience, is that this is the better foundation that we can build upon. So after the V1 rollout, we're going to be introducing groups. So group, Reddit-like type of, or Facebook group type of functionality for people to build communities on floats. We're looking to build Float Market this year. So introducing kind of our competition to Facebook Marketplace.
That's
and
awesome.
and giving people a way to buy and sell goods and services on Float with crypto.
Oh, that's great.
We're looking to do a bunch of things as far as like monetization. We'd like to introduce ad monetization and make that as peer-to-peer as possible from businesses, even on Float that want to promote what they're selling on Float with the content creators that are producing content on Float. And even a big focus too going into the future will be interoperability. So we want to continue to build bridges from big tech platforms to floats, and also from basically producing content on Float and being able to broadcast that out to multiple other platforms simultaneously. So we're looking to become like a library app, so that all library content will be can be seen and engaged with on floats. And there's even the potential of, like, say you post a float or post a video to floats, you could earn not only float token for the engagement that you receive on that video, but you could also receive library coin or Mines token. There's a bunch of different apps that we can kind of integrate and utilize, so that we can kind of create these bridges to these different online communities that are popping up.
That's super
Hive
cool.
would be a good one too.
That is so cool, man. I gotta say that is such a, like, being able to like one and done it, like, and then just have like be earning like 3 different cryptos at once, all on the back end. That's so cool. And like you said, I pick up what you guys are putting down by putting the architecture in place. Like, it's almost like you have to build the perfect foundation, and that's what it seems like V1 is. It's that foundation that you can build the rest of the mansion or the house on. And I commend you on that, because I know that is not an easy task. Like, I'm kind of tech savvy, but I can only fucking imagine what what that's like.
Yeah. In order to build up, first you got to build down.
Amen to that, man.
Mhm.
Less is more. For real.
Yeah. This year's been pretty crazy because we've completely revamped our whole dev team. We brought on Patrick Smith as our CTO, so he's just been really great, and we've hired more developers. It has been it's been interesting as far as, because right now we have to like basically maintain the current beta platform, and then also spend most of our time and resources on developing the new platform to get it out there. But yeah, no, we're really excited about, especially this year of what's in store with everything that's going on, Flote Fest, the NFT stuff, token. We got a full plate.
Dude, when I saw you got Sam Tripoli for Flote Fest last year, that blew my mind. I was like, wow, that's like a high, like you guys really are picking the cream of the crop as far as people that you want the float, message and awareness to be channeled through. Like he's a great voice for, he's just a great comedian on the surface, but deeper than that, he's a great voice for a lot of the concepts that many of us believe in. So that was an A1 sauce for booking that guy. Do you have are there any secret superstars that you have? You don't have to name anything if it's not official yet. But do you have a similar like approach this year, or are you going to be less with the superstars and more with the community? What do you think?
No, yeah, we have a mixed bag. We also have a lot of people that have been really supporting us on Flote and that have content on Flote and have been bringing over the community. So it'll just be even better this year with just our larger community coming together in real life and just making that personal connection. But no, I don't have any specific names that I can disclose yet. But we're close there. We're basically in the process of confirming everybody right now, and Erin's, my wife is in charge of all that. So
yeah, she does a bang up job. I've seen her work. I was at Anarchy Vegas 2019, one of my favorites. That was so cool. The whole Vegas vibe was killer. But like you said, all city vibes have been destroyed by the Orwellian technocratic state. So we have to move forward back. We have to move forward by moving backwards into the wilderness. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Cool. Pat, do you have any more technical questions? Because I was kind of vibing with all
that. Not really, honestly. I think.
Wow, you guys answered all of Pat's technical questions. Do you know how difficult of an insurmountable task that can be sometimes? The guy don't miss a beat.
Well, I'm just sitting here in the chat when the live stream. I think it'd be pretty cool if you hovered over the comment, it would tell you the date. Because remember how you referred to the $8.29 tip Aaron sent? It'd be cool to know what date that was.
Yeah, actually, if you click on it.
Cool.
Boom! They got everything covered. I love it. That's awesome, you guys. I can't wait to see how this develops. Like, I'm stoked for the new architecture. I'm stoked to be able to upload videos. And we were talking a little bit before about how because of the beta architecture, you can't save every live stream for the users like YouTube does. And YouTube uses some satanic hidden quantum technology that they're using for it. We're stuck using normal normal access to technology. But it's cool to see you guys are building all of these. You have that in mind as you build the new architecture. That's really exciting from my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to bring up, I'm interested in this, is that we're right now in I don't know if you guys have been following what's been going on with DAOs in the crypto space. Have you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, DAOs are going to be huge in 2020.
Yeah.
For the layman,
really,
what does DAO stand for? Is that decentralized autonomous exchange, or is that
organization?
Okay, cool. All right, so give us a rundown.
Yeah, so the first DAO was in 2016, and it was in on Ethereum, and basically it was almost kind of like a decentralized investment fund. That ended up getting hacked, but here we are 5 years later, and now what we're really witnessing, and I've been getting very excited about this last month because it finally kind of clicked in my head what's going on. It reminds me actually of the paradigm shift that I saw with Bitcoin in late 2012, where now people are starting to take DAOs very seriously, and credible VCs like Andreessen Horowitz or large angel investors, and also not only that but more importantly communities. So I've been saying how Bitcoin disrupted money. DAOs they're basically doing that for corporate structures or organizations. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of think of that as again, Bitcoin money or crypto money, and DAOs are all of the world stock market, where really the stock is kind of replicated as a token, on the blockchain. So this is literally trillions and trillions of tens of trillions, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars of assets that will be moved over to blockchain and uncensorable technology. So it's it's just been really kind of cool to see, and we're in the middle of discussing, okay, well, we feel that DAOs are the future, and so how can we potentially kind of shift over from Flote's, Flote App Inc., which is a corporation, to a Flote DAO structure. So we've been kind of toying with the idea of maybe the ability to take your Flote tokens and being able to bond them to be able to mint Flote DAO tokens that you would be able to basically participate in a DAO, and it would act as a governance token for Flotes as a kind of a more decentralized organization.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've
Wow.
been personally trying to game all these L2s like Arbitrum and Optimism, and using MetaMask swaps and doing all these things. So I'm trying to get all their airdrop tokens and be a
Oh
part
yeah,
of their DAOs,
you can make good money doing that.
I've been trying, I'm waiting. We'll see.
Did you get the ENS token?
I think ENS is really cool, but I'm a big fan of privacy, so I never bought an ENS, and I don't really plan to. But that's why I didn't get it, because I don't really care to say, hey, go do patleach.s and look at all my money and all my transactions and everything I've done on the blockchain. So I totally think it's cool, but I'm more about privacy.
For sure.
I got the uni airdrop. That was great.
Nice. Yeah.
Dude, so these DAOs, just to kind of like surmise what you were saying, instead of being like Flote.inc, which is a traditional, mainstream type of like business entity, you're saying that you're almost ready to make it a situation where the people who are invested in Flote by being token holders and otherwise will basically get to have somewhat of a say in like the direction of the platform. Is that what I'm gathering?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Community
go ahead.
governance.
You can take it. Yeah, exactly. Community governance. Go ahead, Alexander, if you want.
Yeah. So it'll be turned into a community-owned company or organization, rather. Whereas kind of in the old model, you could like buy, trade, hold stocks, and you technically get ownership in a company, but voting is very difficult. You have to maybe hold a certain amount of stocks to be able to have a say in anything. In a DAO, and the big advantage that we would have in having our own DAO is that any amount of the governance token you hold, you can go into our various proposals, or even maybe submit a proposal yourself to, let's say, add a new feature or change the reward structure or whatever the community wants to see on the platform. You'll be able to directly vote with your governance tokens.
With your stake, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Whoa, that's really cool. Damn. So that's the kind of leadership that I think is really cool. Like you guys, like actually, like you're not. It's not like lip service. You're gonna create you're gonna move it towards an architecture that'll actually implement the community being able to be like somewhat self-directed, which is like pretty sweet, dude. Gotta say that's a really cool, innovative idea.
Yeah, we're really excited to kind of officially announce this and put together the final pieces. But yeah, I mean, this is the the future of finance, and if you just think of like corporations and corporate structures, I mean that ultimately falls under governments, and so obviously the new world that we're all trying to build is creating solutions to the government's problems. And I see DAO as a solution to all this stuff going on.
The DAO structure is like, in the short term, it's going to revolutionize companies and organizations. In the long term, it could revolutionize, voluntary governments, where you opt into receive services and do whatever it is you want to do on a purely voluntary basis. So everybody's talking about metaverse right now, and yeah, that's cool and it's novel, but I've really been looking at DAOs as being like, that's the killer app for blockchain, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I like how you said how a long term it could even move to like, you know, so like instead of using like rigged voting machines to like
Mhm.
hope that like, you know, your guy wins, like it'll be a much more like just like I guess like direct architecture where you will know exactly what kind of a claim that you can stake, and you know if it means something to you and you really do want to be a part of this community and help direct it, you'll get involved more and you'll stake more, and you know, and then also that will discourage people who like don't give like two shits about the community from having an effect on it if they don't invest in it or whatever, and they're just trying to game it or manipulate it to like, you know, extract wealth from it. So that's really cool
Oh
how
yeah.
like how that works out.
Yeah, you got to have
Yeah.
skin in the game in order to be able to vote. You
Exactly.
can't just
Yeah.
leech off the system and vote yourself of everybody else's shit.
Like they do in
And
all
yeah,
governments now.
Yeah.
right. And there
That
could
was
be even be the
revolutionized voting.
yeah, no, absolutely. And there could even be you know, the potential for future revenue sharing down, you know, all made possible with smart contracts.
Dude, yeah. Oh
You
my
know,
God, King. I've been like trying to fish this concept out for like other things, like MMA fighters. Like imagine if you could like have a stake in like an MMA fighter's like I guess like sponsorships and like so like you're up and coming MMA fighter, right? You got a little bit of money, but you're not up there yet. You need to get more facility, get more training. People who believe in you could like invest in your little fighter token, and then like if you
Mhm.
go on and become fucking UFC star, there's like an infrastructure to where they can like actually benefit from that. So instead of just people
Yeah,
like, you know,
that
spending,
exists.
yeah, like that's so cool. Like I
yeah,
love
or
that
if you like,
concept.
yeah, absolutely. Or like if you're, you know, a startup developing a company or a band that is just, you know, getting started
Yeah,
and
like
you want to
music,
share.
exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many, you know, so much potential out there. And now we're lucky to be living in a time where people are starting to wake up and adopt this technology. And then also that the technology is now kind of out of like, you know, alpha and beta stage and is more realistic for the average person to pick up and use. So
Mhm.
it's a good time to be alive.
Yeah.
Besides all the crazy stuff going on, but
Yeah, what a dichotomy. What a crazy situation we're in. You know?
Yeah, one
Yeah,
world,
no,
one. I call it the new and the old world, like because my you know I have conversations with my dad about this kind of stuff. Like none of the new stuff makes sense to him, and he's very old school
uh,
about things. And I'm like, dude, that old world that you came from is dying, like it is
yeah. Well, that's
destroying
the funny
itself.
thing about the concept of the new world order is it's all the old way of looking at and controlling the world, just using, you know, like boomer technology, right? But
Yeah,
what we're talking about is, you know, using technology that's censorship resistant and that we're innovating faster than regulations can be put into place to stop these things. So it's like, you know, once that genie's out of the bottle, there's no putting it back. And it's awesome to see. I mean, like, you know, I've been a libertarian for a really long time, you know, ANCAP, and you know, I gave up on the political route a long time ago. For me, once the idea of decentralization technologies clicked, I'm like, no, I'm 150% behind that. Screw
amen.
politics. It's going to take us nowhere. Let's just innovate faster than they can regulate.
Yeah, man, exit the matrix. That's definitely one of my
Yep.
philosophies as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so cool that you guys are putting all this together, man. Do you guys feel fulfilled doing all this? I suspect you might feel a little bit fulfilled taking on such a great, you know, vocation and line of work.
Hmm. Yeah, there are moments of reflection where you sit back and look at what you've done. I actually think Float Fest is a good opportunity for us as a team to go out and kind of look at all the awesome things we've put together. But a lot of it's, you know, just nose to the grindstone, building it all.
Yeah, I feel you, but yeah, it's important to have those moments. I'm glad I can actually even like visualize like all you guys like sitting around a campfire. You know what I mean? Just like smiling, like
Mhm.
looking at like you know the result of you know your labor. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great to
yeah,
see
yeah, and
the
it's
progress you've
inspiring too
made.
just to see. Oh, sorry, what was that, Pat?
Oh no, I was just saying it's been great to see the progress you've made over the past couple of years. You know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and it's just great to see you know, our growing community, especially like when they're promoting us without even us asking, to, you know, other content creators or just random people on the internet, and you know, trying to get them to join Float because, you know, I just see like there's a separation of these different online communities right now, and I think Flote's values and our team that respects free speech and this voluntarist message, I think that's obviously the way to go, and is the way of the future, and it incorporates all the blockchain technology and decentralized technology 100%. So we feel that's where the trend is in our favor, and so it's just a matter of hard work and time and investment in building this boat for everybody.
I love promoting you and talking about you guys. I mean, we met you at an Anarchy conference in Mexico. You organized your own Anarchy conference. You guys came and spoke at our Anarchy conference.
Yeah, seriously, I remember all of it.
Crypto. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, it was cool to kind of watch the story unfold. Like I remember before Flote existed, and like you guys were doing a bunch of things, and it's cool to see this evolve and become like your baby. And I want to make one more comparison, because we talked about how we kind of had to wait for the technology to catch up, and I just referenced the word baby, and like I literally imagine like the original Bitcoin is like an infant, like trying to crawl through like the web, you know what I mean? And now we're reaching that like adolescent, almost adulthood phase where the infant that was the crypto economy and the technology is now reaching a mature phase that we can actually implement some serious stuff on a high level. So it's great to see you guys spearheading that and pushing that forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And let's make our big focus too. Obviously, during a bull market, there's always a lot of talk about the speculation and making gains and wind moon and all this stuff. But the reason why same as Alexander, I kind of left politics because I was helping the Ron Paul stuff, campaigns in 2008 and 2012.
As was
But the reason why I same thing. I once I really fully understood the technology behind Bitcoin and this decentralized tech and this uncensorable world that we're building. That's the way to end the Fed. And so if we make crypto easy to use and we connect, people and payments on Flote and other platforms too, then that's just a more peaceful and prosperous world for pretty much everyone besides that old world order that you brought up. But we don't like those guys anyway. So.
Amen. I'm glad to see us all, doing everything that we've been called to do and sharing all of our unique gifts to make this a reality for the world that we live in. Because, for so many, I can imagine in 2008 and 2012, you guys were feeling frustrated as, all that Ron Paul hype just gets to, he didn't get into the primary and we kind of wasted all this time. And now it doesn't feel like we're wasting time anymore. Now it feels like not only are we not wasting time, but it's like we're moving so fast that it's like the old world is wasting time. Like I don't even think they realize how much heat is on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least the ones that we're building.
Well, and that's why we're seeing so much censorship right now, is because I feel like they're like grasping at straws.
Oh,
They finally recognize, like, oh shit, the internet is people are talking freely amongst each other. We gotta stifle that. And it's crazy what we're going through, but there's I believe, I'm an optimist, at least long term. I don't know what's going to happen in the short, medium term, but long-term technology and math is on our side.
I feel that, man.
Agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've reached the top of the hour, guys. I think we've discussed a good amount for today's podcast. Does anybody else have anything promotionally that they want to interject before we go offline?
Yeah, I'd like to promote the Plank Owner NFT sale one more time. Go to flotenft.com, FLOTE NFT.com, and sign up for updates if you're interested. That's going to be going live in the next week or two. Just wrapping up a few things on the back end to get that ready for the big sale. But yeah, I think it's going to be really valuable to anybody that gets in, not only from a NFT speculative perspective, but legitimate utility on the platform. It's going to be big.
That's awesome, man. Love to hear it. As far as events that anybody who is sick and tired of quarantining their house, there's a pretty full calendar this year. We have Community Sharefest in Denver is happening this weekend, sponsored by or put on by Bruce B from We Are Change. I'm going to be there. Then Derek Bros is doing the Greater Reset 3 in Morelia. He's actually calling the in-person portion of that, the Greater Getaway, which I think is cool. There's one in Morelia, there's one in Texas for people who want to stay in the States. And then the Acapulco action happens in February. Both Anarchapulco and Agorapulco will be happening throughout the month of February. And then Flote Fest is the end of April. I believe the date was April 26th, if I remember correctly, or something along those lines. And then we have Jackalope Freedom Festival, which is annually every year, August 1st through the 14th. And then this year's Anarchadelphia. The Harvest Moon this year is on September 10th. So that's when we'll be doing it, because we fuck with astrology and we like having the power of the celestial energies on our side. So with that, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing the information about this platform. Thank you for building the platform, because, I mean, just think about it. Like, it wouldn't exist if, like, you guys didn't make it. Like, that's some crazy shit to think about. Like, the stream is happening here right now because you guys built the architecture for it. So we commend you greatly for that.
Thanks. And thanks for having us.
Of course, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Have a great night, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Enjoy the show. We'll be back next time. Peace.
All right.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Carmen. We'll talk soon.